This is Plant-Based Briefing. Switch4Good pushes forward with the Add Soy Act by Jordi Casamitjana at UnchainedTV.com. And I'm Marian Erickson, host of this plant-based podcast where I curate, get permission, and narrate a variety of articles on plant-based and vegan living in about 10 minutes or less every weekday. I'm pleased to have permission from Unchained TV to read their articles here. And I did want to give a quick shout out. I forgot to do this, but it was a review I received from someone who goes by Doesn't in the UK. And they said, excellent podcast, really insightful and easy to listen to, strongly recommend. Thanks for the great content. Thank you so much. I so appreciate people taking the time to leave nice reviews. And I think it can help others decide to listen if they come across it. So if anyone wants to leave a nice review, I'll give you a shout out as well. So now let's get to today's plant-based briefing. Switch4Good is campaigning for the Add Soy Act, a bill to bring non-dairy milk into U.S. schools, and criticizes members of Congress who ignore the widespread lactose intolerance among school children. Switch4Good, a nonprofit that seeks to alert consumers to the dangers of dairy, expressed disappointment that the House Rules Committee denied a vote on an amendment filed to the whole milk bill to address the massive lactose intolerance among school children. While the amendment was blocked, Switch4Good tells Unchained TV that the Add Soy Act itself, H.R. 1619/S2943, the Addressing Digestive Distress in Stomachs of Our Youth Act, is still very much alive. The bill seeks to bring soy milk and other plant-based milks already recognized by the USDA dietary guidelines as nutritionally equivalent to cow's milk into schools across the United States. BIPOC demand for dairy-free milk. The House Rules Committee denied the vote on the amendment despite the fact that leaders of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and Congressional Asian and Pacific Islander Caucus backed it because it addresses the widespread lactose intolerance among children who participate in the National School Lunch Program. According to the Center for a Humane Economy, between 70 and 95% of Black, Pacific Islander and Asian, Native American, and Latino individuals are lactose intolerant. Switch4Good President Dotsie Bausch reacted with disappointment to the amendment's failure, saying the federal government supports allowing mothers to give kids a healthy plant-based milk through the WIC program, but when the kids go to school at the age of 5, they cannot get that same kind of milk in the lunchroom. That's an insult to families and kids, with a handful of lawmakers disregarding the peer-reviewed science revealing widespread lactose intolerance, especially among communities of color, and denying them a nutritious beverage that doesn't make them ill. Bausch cautioned not to count out the Add Soy Act itself, saying proponents of plant-based milks are forging ahead and making headway in the halls of Congress, where they're presenting other lawmakers with the often overlooked statistics on lactose intolerance. Switch4Good's Bausch and Jason Roble are leaders in the national campaign to get the U.S. government to provide plant-based milks to school kids. They spoke with Unchained TV's Jane Velez-Mitchell about the measure. They also shared their gutsy and often outrageous campaigns designed to get people to come to terms with the fact that dairy is the breast milk of a cow. You can watch the entire interview linked here. Challenging dairy myths and mustaches. Dotsie Bausch is an Olympian. Her prolific professional cycling career includes a medal at the 2012 London Olympic Games, 8 U.S. national championships, 2 Pan American gold medals, and a world record. Those achievements have enabled her to become a powerful influencer, one who recommends a plant-based diet for peak athletic performance. Named one of the top 20 most influential vegans in the world by Veg News magazine, she uses her soapbox and her degree in plant-based nutrition to advocate for dietary justice, planet Earth, and animals. Never one to shy away from facing staggering odds, she founded the nonprofit Switch4Good, an evidence-based organization that challenges what she calls dairy disinformation campaigns. As an Olympian, we had dairy highly pushed on us because the dairy industry was a sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. I was experiencing that, which I thought was weird, even before I went plant-based. Switch4Good was launched in 2018 with a television commercial featuring 6 Olympians from 4 different countries who proved that cow's milk is not part of a high-performance diet by winning without it. She explains how she came up with her provocative campaign style. We're just taking a couple of pages out of Big Dairy's playbook. They are certainly very edgy in their style, in that they do not like to tell the truth. So we're using their style, but instead telling the truth. Because people have responded to got milk, they've responded to a lot of the milk mustaches and things like that. So we're also making it attractive, sexy, and edgy, but telling the truth. To get the full scope of their edgy anti-dairy campaigns, check out Switch4Good's channel on Unchained TV linked here. And linked below is their new AI-generated anti-dairy ad featuring former President Ronald Reagan. Reimbursable is the key word. Jason Roble is one of the world's most recognizable experts on plant-based cooking and functional nutrition. He is the Globe and Mail best-selling author of the Hay House cookbook and lifestyle guide, Eternity. He was the first plant-based chef to have landed his own primetime television series. His groundbreaking show, How to Live to 100 on the Cooking Channel and Food Network Canada, taught millions of people worldwide how to prepare delicious, organic, and healthy meals at home. He infuses his video content and digital courses with a lighthearted, humorous approach to optimal health and wellness. Roble also has his own channel on Unchained TV, linked here. Since 2021, he has served as the president of Persuasion at Switch4Good. He explains why the Add Soy Act is absolutely crucial to the health of the nation. There's a key word here, reimbursable. Right now, schools could choose of their own volition to supply soy milk or non-dairy milk and provide it to their students, but they simply don't have the budgets to do so. It would bankrupt them. So one of the key components of our Add Soy Act is to not only offer dairy-free soy milk to these students, a large majority of whom are lactose intolerant, who don't have a choice currently, but it's to make sure that it's offered at the same reimbursement rate as cow's milk. While we don't know exactly when or how the Add Soy Act will cycle forward to a vote in Congress, we can be sure that one Olympic cyclist and her team are already in the race. You just listened to Switch4Good pushes forward with the Add Soy Act by Jordi Casamitjana at UnchainedTV.com, and I'm Marian Erickson, your host. I always put a link to the original post in the show notes, and you can also find those at plantbasedbriefing.com/episodes. But from that link, you can find the other links mentioned in the article. And I did crack up watching their new AI-generated anti-dairy ad featuring former President Ronald Reagan. I'll read an excerpt here for those who won't be able to go take a look themselves. But basically, because it's AI-generated, it looks like it's Ronald Reagan saying the following. As I speak to you, the dairy industry is responsible for increasing rates of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and obesity in this nation. It's currently wasting hundreds of millions in taxpayer dollars, and it's contributing to the destruction of our precious environment. We've been subsidizing this toxic industry for decades, and we will continue to do so unless we all choose to put a stop to it. So let's all agree to use our brains and stop drinking the mammary secretions of another species, because that's some twisted shit. Anyway, pretty funny. I do love all of their advocacy, and their campaigns are hilarious. I've also read a number of posts from Switch4Good, so you can check those out if you're interested. And please share this episode with anyone who might benefit, and thanks for listening.